is also facing this pressure of globalization. We're so connected. For a GNH society to work, we really need to move the boundaries, we need to think, we need to change our own habits, and feedback is one of the most critical for good governance. And the topic I think I was assigned was something about active citizen. And after reading, looking at the new paradigm, I realized there's another useful word, and that's awakened. Active and awakened. It's not just about activity and activism, it's also about awakening in us this ability to really consider where we're at this moment in time. Democracy is a work in progress, so therefore, we have a lot of time. We're in it now. Every day is this moment, this precious moment for us to think how we can make democracy more inclusive. How can our system of governance mobilize a community to work towards a sustainable future based on well-being, right? How do we mobilize our youth not just to love the country but to care for it, to take action to build the future, and also, to fulfill a dream that's not based on individual wants. The common good, which was there in our villages, in Ika, where everybody helped one another, is now at risk of being forgotten because we all live in a metropolis like Thimphu, where we drive by our neighbors and not think, of reaching out. Don't think we can carpool. We don't think we can collaborate. Collaboration is a huge challenge. We really need to find ways to break down the silos between government, civil society, citizen, corporations, because without that, we are creating the same GDP world everywhere. But all is not bad. I think the wonderful thing is that now that we're a democratic constitutional monarchy, it creates that space, right? We call ourselves an evolving democracy, right? We understand better. I think that diversity in views will, we hear more, a lot more diversity in views. And the new paradigm actually talks about this sense of interdependence. That despite all the diversity, at the end of the day, we want one sovereign nation, right? We want one strong community, right? That's what we want. So the sense of interdependence must come back into Bhutanese society, at least during the elections time. I'm afraid party politics has led to a lot of divides and a lot of competition, and we forget that we're actually connected. Whether it's through old school ties or old community ties or old friendships or by marriage or whatever. We forget that, but because in the heat of the competition, again, something that we have adopted from outside, right? So the last point I'd like to share is this idea of GNH and a new paradigm. In Bhutan, why? We have great policies, great ideas, as you heard from the former teacher. Everything is there, but the implementation is the problem. And I think maybe it's because we have, for too long, been reliant on the drivers to drive. We had great visionary leadership for years. How do we pass on this inspired notion of an alternative so that everybody is awakened to this idea and this need to think and live differently? I think that's our challenge, and that can only work if we have active citizens. If the citizens feel that they own or they, are inspired, we can trigger that action that will make the change. So we can no longer be reliant on the top. And this passion to articulate and to drive that great vision needs to be brought back. And the only way is, I don't know how, maybe through deliberations like these, maybe through education, maybe through questioning, debates. But I find that, this has been such a wonderful document. We need to go through it to give it some benefit, because I think a small country like Bhutan has the courage to really think big and think out of the box and be different. We need to give it a go. Even if we're critical about it and skeptical, we need to look through it, give it a go, and figure out how, what it means for me.